Well, to get back to this game.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's talk about the game. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk. That was such a lifesaver move there. What is that? XXY what is it? XXYB then
you mean the shuriken cancel?
Yeah. To do that combo, to lop off their head. I mean, when people learn that combo, it really helped out. Isn't that the combo that you're using sometimes on the single ninjas?
Yes, it is. It's called shuriken cancel, and basically what you're doing is canceling the animation with the shuriken throw, which has multiple benefits. Not only do you get out of your animation faster, but you stun the enemy you just delimbed, and you also keep him in range so he doesn't stumble back, and so you can OT him on the spot. It's probably the most powerful move you have at the start, and everybody should use it.
Yeah, I think like at level 1, I'd probably say the Dragon Sword. I don't know if you'd agree, but I'd say the Dragon Sword at level 1's probably the best weapon, like overall, and like a large part of that is because of that OT sequence you can do.
Exactly.
I do love the anime. You know when you cut their leg off and they just fall down like that? It just looks so good.
They got like some brutal OTs, man. Whoever thought of these? To do that. I love the flail OT where it kind of lops off their head, then their knees or something like that. It's like, oh my god.
So this sequence is actually a good thing to kind of talk about a little bit of history on NG2, like how well like you're dealing with the ISs here. Like this, I think, is like the biggest hurdle to a lot of people's enjoyment in this game. Is that
definitely
the IS ninjas, and it's funny. Contrast that with Sigma, with the Master Collection having come out. Sigma is a lot more forgiving, like NGB in general, just because of the way health works. Whereas in NG2, when you fight these enemies in like chapters 1 and 2, these IS ninjas, you kind of have to play by their rules. You cannot just kind of ignore what they're doing and like just like jump around and try and flying swallow. Because if you do that, you like one incendiary explosion into a wall, into a grab, you're dead. Like if you disrespect them once, they will kill you. Whereas in NGB and Sigma, especially with Sigma, because you've got the on-the-fly item use, it's a lot easier to, in a way, kind of like mash a little bit more and get through it. Whereas on 2, that's just not happening. You haven't really. I don't think you've actually had a clean hit here. And like, look at your health. You're at like a 3rd life bar.
Yeah, it was all explosive damage, definitely.
Yeah.
At least they thought about ways. There's that combo we were talking about right there. But at least they thought of ways to get out of that. It's like, okay, well, if you do UTs or OTs or guillotine throws, that'll cancel out that exploding animation. So it was cool that while they put a ton of crap in there to hurt you, they also put ways to get out of that hurt.
Yes, I also feel like it is really well thought out. It is just a little bit unfinished in my opinion, but we all know why.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with this game too, because one of the biggest, I think, shocks a lot of people had, like coming from NGB and Sigma, was in NGB and Sigma when you're doing moves like a UT or a guillotine throw or an Izuna drop, the ninjas, like, they cannot actually land incendiaries into you, whereas in NG2.
Yes.
You can come out of an Izuna drop with like quite literally like 9 incendiaries in you, and you're like, oh crap.
Yeah, I feel like that's on purpose.
Yeah.
Because you would be way too overpowered again if you could like do all of that without having IS stuck in you. I think even when you come out of a UT, especially, which is also where the counter system shines the most. I feel like NG2's counter system works very differently from NGB's counter system, because in NGB you can basically stand there and wait for enemies to counter. It doesn't work like that here, because you will just get grabbed. And the grabs have no telegraph, like you will just get grabbed instantly. So the best moment to counter in NG2 is exactly after those iframes, like after a UT, after a OT, when you see an enemy is already hitting you while you're doing the OT, and then you just go for a counter. Like, that's the best way to implement counters in this game.
When I know you said earlier that my channel didn't show a lot of NG2. You know, when I first started, or when I had my other channel, I did have some NG2 videos up there. And, you know, unfortunately, those were lost whenever I closed it down. But I'll be the first one to say that Ninja Gaiden Black, you know, kind of ruined me for some of the other games. And I don't think I gave this game
Why
probably...
is that?
I just think it's, compared to the other games, just perfect, well-balanced. Maybe some of the time limits are a little too long or something. I don't know. I'm also maybe being a little, you know, older than most players. I mean, it's funny when I hear people talk about their age now. It's like, you know, back then I was, you know, 21 years old, and now it's so different. And I'm like, well, the age that you are now is when I started playing Ninja Gaiden Black. Yeah. So, you know, imagine it now. But like I said, it just seemed kind of cheap and unfair to it, that you can get grabbed out of, like you're doing a Zuna drop and the mages could grab you or something, and it's just like, man, how can you get out of that? There's a difference between being hard and than not being fair, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree with everything you said, actually.
Oh, wow. So I just, like I said, I played it, and, you know, I think I scored, like, you know, beat it on Master Ninja, got all of my achievements, you know, the 1250, and, you know, just kind of put it away. I didn't explore it like, you know, I've done with Ninja Gaiden Black for sure. You know, it just grabs me. You know, when I watch all this stuff, and like I said, just seeing all the explosions, and now knowing how I am now, you know, it's I'm slower than what I used to be, and you know, it probably make me a little nervous. So all you're doing there when you're going to the save statue is just healing. That's not saving.
I am just healing. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
You can tell by the button prompt on the bottom right. When you have autosave enabled, it says save and heal. And if you have it disabled, it just says heal, and you have to save manually after that. So you can tell by that I'm just healing and not saving.
Right.
And I usually don't play with the karma window open. I really... and I know
I was going to ask that, yeah,
wants to strangle me right now, but I really hate that thing. And it just clogs up too much of the screen, in my opinion, and I love the bloody hit counter. It just... As a stylized visual feedback, I like it much more. And you don't really need the karma window in NG2. It's like pointless.
Yeah,
right.
It's kind of a shame because of the time limit stuff. Like the only thing it does give you,
and the enemy count is missing. Like there's no point in having that open.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Like the only thing it really does give you is in tests of valors. Like you can track your enemies like a lot more easily. But the problem with the tests of valor is that in some of them, if you go like too long or too far away, like from an enemy without killing them, it zeroes out anyway.
Yes, when it heals your health, it zeroes out.
Yeah, so it's a real shame that that's not there, because for some of those tests of valors, like the longer ones, when you've got like 50 dinos to kill,
yes,
it's nice knowing that you've only got like 10 left or 15 left.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like you're in purgatory when you're killing dinos and you have no idea how many there are left.
Yeah.
Oh man, you want to just kill yourself.
Yeah, and that's one thing about NG2, we talked about it briefly, and I've talked about this before in the past, but like, you know, in general, like the community wasn't, you know, for anyone that like doesn't want people to know, sorry, but in general, like the community wasn't very like warm to this game when it first hit, because it plays like all the legacy skill is there, like your movement and your decision making, but mechanically and kind of fundamentally, the game is so different to Black and Sigma that I think a lot of the people that were like really like hip deep in Black and Sigma, they tried to play this game, and I did it myself. You know, I tried to play it like NGB.
Yeah, you cannot do that.
Yeah, I was getting annoyed that it wasn't working, and it was really survival mode that kind of forced me to like, okay, this is different. You know, you need to play differently here. And in survival, if anyone's not played survival, it's DLC, but survival mode is, I think, like the shining like jewel in this game, because while the main game is still great, survival mode is just absolutely savage. Like the enemy combinations that you get in survival compared to story mode are just, not only are they nuts, like having like red werewolves, like mech Vangelfs, and like IS ninjas all at the same time.
I agree. The enemy combinations are so much better than in story mode, and I wish I really wish that in story mode the enemy combinations, even combinations at all, because most of the time you're just finding one enemy type. I think where the game shines the most with enemy combinations is in Chapter 11, when you really have Purple Eyes Ninja, Yellow, I don't know if it's Yellow, but we just call them Yellow Ninja, and the Fiend Mages all at once. And you're thinking like, holy Jesus, how am I gonna do this?
Yeah.
But you can.